Hello, 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 hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody's had a good Wednesday. I come at you straight from Kansas City today, where there was no good news coming out of the parade, aside from the parade itself being concluded. Apparently, there were some bad characters, some bad actors, some bad people, three of which have been detained, to my understanding. And it's, come on, I want to talk about the Chiefs, the celebration, the victory parade, everything that goes along with it. I was also supposed to have Frank Rizzo on, but Frank had an issue come up, and that's okay. But I'm here. I'm going to continue to always be here. But now I'm able to do two things at once. So no more YouTube, no more Facebook. Now it's FaceTube. So you see me on here and I'm with anybody, face chat. That's what it is. But yeah, out of all the things that should have not happened today, the main one would have been not having a shooting during the Chiefs victory parade after coming off a Super Bowl win. The latest I've got, and I just got another update here, as much as anyone else has. I don't want to. I don't want to sensationalize anything when it comes to reporting on this because I don't want to get it wrong. Number one, number two, it's not what I really cover or want to cover, but I kind of have to at this point since it's an actual thing. But a mass casualty event, no. A mass shooting event, yes. 22 is the number of individuals that have been involved in the shooting. That does include one person who did not survive and has passed away. Looks like got 6 other individuals with life-threatening injuries. Excuse me, 7 other individuals had immediate life-threatening injuries, and another 7 had life-threatening injuries. And then 6 had non-life-threatening injuries. So I'm not doing the math at this point, but 7 is 14 plus another 6 is it's 20. It's not 22, but that's okay. It doesn't, a lot of details are still out there. But from 3 people are detained as we speak, according to what I am being shown, and that is what is going on today in Kansas City. And from my understanding, and I didn't watch the parade, I wasn't part of the parade. I'm like 20 minutes outside of Kansas City, if you're not familiar with where I am. And I've never went to any of the parades, whether it was the Royals when they won their championship or any of the Chiefs parades. It's not my thing. I don't like that many people. And honestly, I'm not the right guy. Not the right guy for it. But it's 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 tragic for lots of reasons. A lot of these victims involved in the shooting today apparently are children, which there's no excuse for that. Children, they don't they don't deserve that. They shouldn't be anywhere near that, and nor do you go to a celebratory parade with the expectation of there being a shooting. And from my understanding, the shooting began approximately 15 to 20 seconds after the parade had ended. So virtually what you have is a sea of people, and then you have gunfire. And once that has taken place, you now have 22 individuals that have been hurt, marred, maimed, and killed. You got 3 individuals detained. It's just, I don't want people that aren't from Kansas City or have never been to Kansas City to think that Kansas City is a dangerous, violent, crazy place. It is no more or less dangerous than any other major United States city. And that's just a fact. And what's this? What's going on here? Lost picture? Plug it or select a different camera. Not exactly sure what happened. I didn't unplug anything, but let's try this. Because I know you guys still hear me. What the fuck? You can hear me, but you can't see me. You know what? This might be the best show in the world. Well, connect the camera. Click the camera button to turn it back on. Is that the camera button? There's a camera button, not the camera button I'm wanting. But that's okay. That's all right. Camera's a camera, right? No. We'll go with this one for right now because I can't figure out what the hell's going on with the other one. Yeah, we'll figure it out one of these days. It's always got to be some kind of kink, something to throw it off. But that's all right. After I lost signal there with the camera, now I'm back to a camera. I have to... That's crazy. That's crazy. Guys, bear with me for just a second here because for whatever reason, we're going to... There, we're back. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but I fixed it. It's all been fixed. Good as new. Tragedy averted on this side of things. All right. There, I'm back. Better camera. But yeah, to have a shooting out here in Kansas City during the course of the celebratory parade for the Chiefs and their 3rd Super Bowl victory was not what anyone expected, obviously. And there again, like I was saying, you don't go to one of these celebrations, parades, concerts, whatever it is, with even the thought of it being a place of danger or that something bad, nefarious is going to go on and happen to you. It's just not the way that your mind works in that kind of situation, because just like going to a concert, you got plenty of security, you got plenty of other people. Generally, concert, board game, you get patted down, etc. So maybe it's a little different in that aspect, whereas this is a giant parade with 2 million people in the KC metro area. I'm not saying there were 2 million people there, but there was quite a bit. So organized confusion at one point and then mass chaos in the other. I don't envy any of it. And, I'm just sorry that it happened at all. Unfortunately, it did. And until we get more information, I don't know any more than what I've told you already. But there was a shooting at the conclusion of the parade for the Chiefs today downtown, and it resulted in the detention of 3 individuals. And at this time, we have 1 fatality. We have 8 children that have been, 11 children that have been tended to, and the total number of victims, not casualties, not fatalities, of victims in the shooting is 22. So as things progress, as things develop, whether or not I'll still be online as that happens, I don't know. Kind of throws a little bit of a, like, do I want to talk about the Chiefs and get all of them? No, I mean, it's not like a celebratory thing turned into a not cool, not cool at all. And I don't, I I believe it was probably maybe 5 years ago, roughly, maybe a little bit more. There was a shooting out here at a local eatery. You know, there's a little bar and grill up here, and a gentleman came in and believe he shot 3 people and killed 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where I live out here, and it's very quiet. It's just not something that normally happens. And since then, it's been relatively quiet also. And it's just not a normal occurrence that we have out here to have these mass shootings or mass casualty events or any of the above. And frankly, we all need to do better. This isn't the kind of stuff I want to talk about and report on and give you my take on as to why during the Chiefs victory parade we had a mass shooting. But blows my mind. Don't know. I don't get it. It upsets me actually quite a bit. Anytime children are involved, children are injured or hurt in any way, me having children of my own, man, it really bothers me. It really does. Then, not having all the information, not having all the facts, not being able to delve into it any more than what I can by just giving you the information that I'm looking at doesn't make anyone feel any better. And I'm, you know, I'll say a prayer for all those affected by this. Unlike unlike some individuals, I don't always necessarily agree that there's always going to be good that comes out of bad. And in this case, you know, there's never anything good that comes out of a mass shooting. There just isn't. There isn't. And in this particular case, during the course of a celebration where there's hundreds, tens of thousands of people, I don't want to say hundreds of thousands, but I'm sure there's, I don't know what the number of people at the parade were, but that many people in one place, that's not the reason that this happened, I don't think. For whatever reason it happened, it wasn't due to lack of security. I know that there was more than enough police and others in the area to where it was a safe environment. So at no point should anybody ever fear to go downtown for any events. It's not like that. It's just not. But the same as any other major city. And then you got one thing like this that happens and everybody focuses on it. But I don't want to sensationalize it and glorify it. I want to make you aware of it because you're going to hear it from me or from your local news or from your national news. And they're going to throw in their opinion about it and give you their point of view, the narrative. And they probably have some actual good information, whereas I'm just reading you the story and telling you what happened today. A day that I'd scheduled to go on with Anthony. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And unfortunately, this happened, which is, yeah, it's shameful and it's sad. It's shameful and sad. But to put it on the national stage like this in front of the world, the country, however you want to look at it, to see in and itself is horrible. The events that took place are more horrific than those of looking bad, if that's what you want to say, losing face. And like I said again, Kansas City is not a scary place that you shouldn't come to or be afraid of. It's got great people. It's the Midwest, one of the safest places you can be. But just like any place else, you've got dangers, you've got bad people, you've got bad places in the city. I mean, you got This is America. Nothing's nothing's gonna be perfect. Nothing's gonna always go your way. But for something to go this bad, I don't know. We'll get some answers, and people will come forward with more information because now you've got 22, 21, 22 individuals that you've got to go interview, get a statement from. And then you got these three individuals that have been detained, which we don't have any information of at this time. And yeah, so the more we get in, if I'm happening to still be on while it comes in, I'll shoot it your way, let you know what it is that I find out. But aside from that, you know what? Let's turn this off for just a second because it's we're done for that for a moment. We're gonna go. We're gonna throw on a little bit of you know. So I got this software that I'm using, and I think it's all right. You know, I'm getting used to it. I haven't played around with it as much as I'd like, but I'm still playing around with it, as you can clearly see as I whoosh, whoosh, max block watches, Kansas City. Yeah, yeah. So got the new software. Had Frank Rizzo getting ready to come on tonight, and like I said, it's okay. It is okay. Frank Rizzo couldn't make it. I'm not mad at him. He's a busy man. He's got things to do. I get it. It's okay. We're not mad about anything. Now, I'm more upset about the fact that we simply don't have any good answers about this shooting that took place. And that's, you know, I had things that I want to discuss, you know, touch on, but this whole shooting Bakri really kind of threw. Yeah, I'm still. I can't say I'm in shock just because it's not the first time we've ever had a live shooting. Oh, I got you. I understand. I get it. I understand now. But in all, yeah, really just kind of fucks you up when you got one thing planned and then this happens, and you just kind of. I don't want to glorify mass shootings or anybody that had anything to do with them, so I don't want to talk about it. But at the same time, it doesn't feel right talking about celebrating that Chiefs victory. But you know, that's that's crazy to me. Of all the times, of all the days, of all the places. I mean, it's crazy. It happens, and it could happen anywhere. And I really wish that I knew more info, but I don't. Yeah. Not something that you normally see in Kansas City. Yeah, nothing new, nothing popped up since we last spoke. Uh, yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on having an episode of talking about shooting children. That's just not what I want to discuss, not what I want to talk about. And even if Frank would have made it on tonight, that's okay. I don't think that I think he would probably be more aligned with me, and just, we'd still talk about the Chiefs, I think, ultimately, but we'd be stuck on this. Like, I've been stuck on this for the last 20 plus minutes. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we just don't know anything about why. And that's really what it is. That drives me crazy. Why? Like, is it something that you plan to do, for the last couple of 2, 3 days since they won? Was it just this shit just pop off between a couple guys? I mean, what's the story behind the shooting? I mean, what the fuck do you have to do in order to be that fucking careless, negligent, and stupid to where you're popping rounds off and there's people and kids, children, everybody's around over what? I'd like to know that. I'd like to know what the fuck you start shooting over at a celebratory parade. And was it planned? Did you plan on doing this shit? Is it something that you've been thinking about for the last few days, or is it something that just, boom, like I said, something popped off between a couple cats, a couple different groups of people? Who knows? Who knows? Stupid people need protection from themselves. Okay? And clearly, since shots were fired, one would have to automatically assume that it was a gun. But I'll tell you this, that gun didn't fire itself. It took somebody to squeeze that trigger, to point that barrel, to take aim. That gun didn't do it on its own. But it'll come back to that again. It's just a bad deal. Bad deal. Plenty of stuff on my mind about this game, too. Free agency, a lot of different things. You know what? Maybe let's try to start fresh. If any new shit comes in, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna try to continue on and talk about what we can expect now going forward with the Chiefs. We got some free agents, and this is true. But there's really three guys that ultimately I think we need to get back if we want to repeat, because filling the positions that those guys would leave empty is not going to be a simple thing at all. Those three guys are going to be Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, and number 95, Chris Jones. Now, I think, in my opinion, Chris Jones already had one big contract, all right? He's got 3 rings. And if you think about it logically, people that play in the NFL, football players, yes, getting paid is going to be a part of the job, but winning championships is also a part of the job. And after you've done both and been successful, what do you do? Do you go to a different team and try to replicate that success there when you don't have the same pieces around you? Or do you finish off your career with the team that drafted you and where you started and work something out and make a deal and run it back for a third time? I think, honestly, realistically, you restructure some contracts, make some moves to where it's feasible to keep Jones. You can throw a tag on Sneed or on Willie Gay Jr. It'll be fine. But I'm sure you can also come up on top and make the moves necessary to retain these guys long term. But those are the three guys, like, MVS, Tony, Donovan Smith. There's a handful of other guys. Losing those guys, we'll be okay. We'll be all right. Wanye Morris, the offensive tackle, he was a little banged up, had the concussion. And Donovan Smith, we only had him on a 1-year deal. So now that we've seen what Wanye's capable of, and he demonstrated it in the time that he did play. I don't think we'll see Donovan Smith anymore. And, you know, there's some other guys that we may or may not retain, but I think with the energy that this team has and the chemistry that they've built and developed, I think that there's more of an incentive to go out there and play together. Okay, you get a big bag of money, you go to another team, and you do all the same hard work under another coach and under another system, and it doesn't always work. Shit. Think about Albert Hainsworth. That's the best example I could think of. Albert Hainsworth was a beast when you played for Tennessee. Then to get that big contract to go to Washington, and what? Nothing. Fucking failure. Awful. And I'm not comparing Chris Jones and Albert Hainsworth symmetrically. They're not the same player. But that type of situation, you know, chasing the bag, you don't really need to chase the bag. If you're making 20 plus mil already a year, bro, you're making good money. Okay. You're doing all right. You're not going hungry at night. Your kids aren't going hungry. Your family isn't going hungry. But you know what? I think that they can work something out. A lot of people don't believe it, but I still, you know, I'm realistic. Deals can always be made and things could always be worked out. So I think free agency wise, Kansas City will retain those three guys in particular, and I expect them to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Whether you got to tag one, work out a deal with the other two, whatever you have to do, I think you'll do it. And I think Chris Jones is going to be reasonable enough at this stage in his life, at this age, to realize that, you know, he's in the best situation that he can possibly be in. Where else do you want to go that you've already got a proven Super Bowl winning head coach with a fucking Super Bowl winning, 3 times Super Bowl winning quarterback, and just the team that's around you is so great that all you do is make them better? Why would you want to go someplace else? You know, I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. It wouldn't make sense to me if I was in this position, because it wouldn't be about the money. I've got roots here already since 2016. Yeah, 2016 is when he got. 2016? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2016 when Chris Jones got drafted. So it makes sense to me, because otherwise you're going to be going up against the Chiefs every year in some form or fashion, whether it be in the final game against the final boss or whatever the case may be. But either way, you're going to end up at some point more likely playing against the same team that you came from, depending on where you go. But I don't I don't see it happen. I think they retain Chris Jones. I think they do. I really think he stays. Same with Snead, same with Gay. And if the money's right on any of the other guys, maybe the money's right and it's worth it. But I think that need wise, biggest need, it's going to be that wide receiver position. And then make sure that offensive line is solid. Tooney will be fine. Allegretti's a beast. You know, he played with a tore UCL, which is the same injury Brock Purdy had. So that was impressive. I'd read that earlier today. I did not realize that. It's good shit. That's good shit, Nick Allegretti. Good job. Tough, man. That shit's painful. Very painful. I had more than my fair share of injuries, not from football necessarily, but in general. So I get it. It's not an easy injury to play through or just to have in general, and then especially having to play through an injury like that. That's very impressive. It's nothing that's easily done whatsoever. I think that that's a testament to the team's integrity, their toughness in general, and how they respond and how that they move forward and persevere and are able to maintain that level of success and excellence, clearly enough to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And a lot of people, you know, we're already talking about three-peats and other things. Is it feasible? Sure. Why not? It's possible. It's possible. It's not going to be an easy task by any means. It's never been done before in football. Back-to-backs have been done before. Back-to-backs have happened. Steelers went back-to-back twice and won. Chiefs could have went back-to-back twice and won, but they lost to Tom Brady and the Bucks a couple years back. So that happens. I think that, in my opinion, I think the Kansas City, the Chiefs as an organization, is a franchise that people want to come and play for because they are established, because they do have quality coaching, quality everything. I think it's appealing to people, but you might not think so. Kansas City being where it is, Kansas City, I'll tell you, Kansas City is a lot more appealing than like fucking Buffalo. Like, fuck, no, you want no. What else? Minnesota? Oh, no, 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 uh, no. I mean, where else would you want to go play? I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. He's got one Super Bowl ring. He's got a big bag of money. You think he's ever going to get back to another Super Bowl? Probably not. I doubt it. Not with the Dolphins. Mahomes has defeated everybody that he's went up against. The two guys in the playoffs that have beat Mahomes, Brady and Burrow. And Burrow ends up losing Stafford. Mahomes would not have lost that game to the fucking Rams. I guarantee it. No way. We would have beat the Rams. 100%. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. Not even a little bit of doubt. And then the other two, AFC Championship 2018 to Tom Brady. And then again in Super Bowl 55 to Tom Brady. So there's just 3 losses in the postseason. 1 Burrow, 2 to Brady. Total of 3 losses. Now, clearly, Tom Brady is still the GOAT. I'm not saying that Tom Brady is not the GOAT, but if there was anybody that is going to challenge that in the modern day of quarterback, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. And it's not really even that close. It really isn't. There's other good quarterbacks out there, but nothing like Mahomes. And a lot of people, they compare him to Brady, but if you look back at the beginning of Brady's career, early Brady, though statistically Mahomes destroys him, he wasn't a bad quarterback. He was relatively decent. But nobody put him in a GOAT conversation. Matter of fact, Brady I don't even remember Brady being in the GOAT conversation until after he'd won his 4th Super Bowl in 2014. After he had 4 chips, that's when, everybody was talking about GOAT, and Brady in the same sentence. But from the time that they won their back-to-back in 2004, going to the Super Bowl in their undefeated season in 2007 when he won his first MVP. He didn't win his first MVP till 2007. And I think we remember how that season ended with a guy named Eli Manning defeating the Patriots in the Super Bowl and ending their perfect season. So I remember that pretty good. So that didn't do anything in way of helping his climb to GOATness, his journey to GOATness. And then go another 4 or 5 years, make it back to the Super Bowl again. At this point, you've been to the fucking Super Bowl 5 times, right? 5 Super Bowls. You got 3 rings. 3 rings. 5 Super Bowls. You won 3. Lost 1. Lost 1 to fucking Eli Manning. Now it's 2011. Made it back to the Super Bowl again. And after not having been there since 2007. And guess what? You got Eli Manning and the Giants to play all over. Surely Eli and the Giants aren't going to win again, are they? Yep, they did. They did. So then there was 2 Super Bowls that Brady had lost in a row. 2 Super Bowls in a row he lost in the course of 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was. Nobody was talking about him being the GOAT. There was no talk about him being the GOAT. He was 3-2 as far as the Super Bowl record goes. You know, he lost to Eli Manning twice. Yeah, he's got 3 rings. He's been to 5 Super Bowls, but nobody was talking about him being the GOAT. Montana was still the GOAT. To me, Montana's still the GOAT. Mr. Perfect in the Super Bowl. And then, like I said, the GOAT talk came 2014 after they won against, who was the Falcons? The Falcons, and they ended up beating the Seahawks, and they beat the fucking Rams. So, yeah, nobody talked GOAT until after they won that Super Bowl against the Falcons. Unless I'm getting my 14s and 16s mixed up, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but if I am, I apologize. You guys can correct me and correct it later. It could have been either one. I'm pretty sure that that's the way it went. But then that's when the GOAT talk really started. You know, before that, there was no GOAT talk. And if there was, it was chatter at best. But with Mahomes, you know, it's unfair to him, in my opinion, that you're throwing him into a GOAT conversation already. Yes, I get why you do it, but it's not necessary. Let the man play his career, let him continue to do well, and then after another 10 years, let's see where he stands, and then talk about GOATs. Right now, he's got a lot of playing time, a lot of career left, a lot to do. So, by no means is he done at all. No. If I had a guess, and I mentioned this the other day, I think when Tony was on, where does Mahomes stand? Where does he rank? If he wins another Super Bowl, but does it next year in a three-peat, that'll put him at 4, still 3 behind Brady, but a three-peat, and then that much success that quickly in the beginning of his career. It's a situation that's very possible. I can tell you right now that Troy Aikman's records, ones that are left, I think it's just passing yards is all he's got over Mahomes at this point. And it's not by very much. They'll be gone after next year. Troy Aikman is just going to be another rung, whatever you want to call it. You know, just another individual that he's eclipsed in a very quick amount of time. And Troy Aikman, nothing taken away from Troy Aikman from 89 to 99 or until 2000 when he retired. Yeah, there's early success in the Super Bowls, won 3 of them. After he lost Jimmy Johnson, he was still able to get one with Barry Switzer. But after that 95 Super Bowl and Barry Switzer, never made it back. For his entire career, he's got a little over 30,000 yards. Mahomes is just behind him in yards, so after he passes him in that category, he'll pass him as a better quarterback, which I really think he is. And that's not a knock against Troy Aikman. I like Troy Aikman, but the only reason I'm getting on Troy Aikman is because of that fucking post that he did a few years ago. See me when he's at 33% of my Super Bowls. Well, motherfucker, he's at 100% of your Super Bowls. And pretty much eclipsed all your other records and accolades at this point in time. And if you're in the Hall of Fame, Troy Aikman, I bet if Patrick Mahomes quits his career and retires right now, he'd be in the Hall of Fame too, guaranteed. So think about that. Put that into perspective. He played twice as long as he did, and 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 half the time he's accomplished everything you have and more. So I get it. You watch this guy. Sometimes you get a little bit bitter, a little bent out of shape because you're seeing somebody that's taken away every time he completes a pass, every time he makes a yard. That's a chip that he's taken out of your fucking record that once stood. So I understand. You can't not care. Even if you say you do or don't. It's not true. It's bullshit. But that's the way it is. You don't want to fucking wear your feelings on your sleeve, as they say. I think it's comical, honestly. This is where I wish Frank was on here right now because he can kind of understand and be able to jump in and give me a little bit of help when it comes to explaining this part. Since the Chiefs now have won their third Super Bowl with Mahomes in the span of 5 years, okay? You lose that good guy, underdog, everybody's rooting for you type status, and now you're the bad guy. So overnight, you become the bad guy. Overnight. So now when you're watching that Subway commercial or that State Farm commercial or whatever fucking other commercials, Adidas, you really think that you're fucking somehow supporting the enemy, the villain? You think when Jordan was winning all those championships that people were like, fuck, I'm not buying any of these shoes. Fuck Jordan. Talking shit, rooting against him. No. Crazy? Not at all. But that's what the media will have you believe. That's what they want you to think. And it's not easy being on top because when you're on top, all motherfuckers want to do is to take you down, bring you down. Facts. It's just facts. Whether you're Michael Jordan or you're Tom Brady or you're Wayne Gretzky or Patrick Mahomes, you get to that level of greatness and success that people have nothing, they're going to sensationalize a narrative that is completely opposite of what the truth is and use that in order to fucking try to gain popularity, fame, whatever, notoriety, doesn't matter. We can make word salad and semantics all day long. But when it comes down to it, ultimately, it's sensationalism. They have to sensationalize Patrick Mahomes. They don't have to villainize him, but you have to sensationalize him because there's now that empty void of greatness that you have to fill. And clearly, Mahomes naturally filled it. And it's not anything that you can do to prepare for something like that. He's a once in a generation type player like Brady, except the difference between Brady and Mahomes, in my opinion, is that Brady was never involved in that GOAT conversation until after he won his fourth Super Bowl in 2014. So that 10-year stretch of not winning a Super Bowl, not saying he wasn't in the Super Bowl, not saying they weren't in the playoffs, but not winning a Super Bowl from 04 to 14 is 10, right? Right. And if we understand that the NFL season starts one year but finishes, i.e., the postseason, the following year, when we talk about the 23 season, okay, that includes the 24 Super Bowl that we just saw this past Sunday, which is in 2024, which is also when the playoffs are. So regular season, we are going to run from preseason in August up until the regular season started in September, all the way through the end of December into January. And then we will begin the postseason, which ends in February. Okay. The only sport that I know of that I follow that matters that I can think of that starts and stops in the same calendar year is baseball. But baseball's not my thing. It's not what I like to talk about. I don't like to watch it, but I will if I have to. So I digress. So, football. Football. I, you know, I think this year coming up is going to be the one that is going to be the most difficult. Not because they're going back to back to back, not because of the off season and the potential losses in free agency, not that, but because if you if you listen to certain individuals that are out there and they have their show, they like to stick to one specific narrative when it comes, well, in this case, to the quarterback and the Mahomes. They're going to always compare him to Brady. Why are they comparing him to Brady? Because Brady is the GOAT. Brady's the best, and Mahomes is the closest thing to it. And he's got the keys, i.e., according to Tom Brady, you got the keys, kid. So, so you measure everything that is currently in the NFL to that Mahomes standard, and then you have that other standard of greatness, which is Brady. And for current players, I mean, there's nobody even close to Mahomes, let alone Brady. But my argument is that Brady was not the GOAT until after he won his fourth Super Bowl. And if Mahomes has already got three, and they keep a solid team to where he gets a three-peat, which has never been done, also getting his fourth ring, which will match Montana, which will match Bradshaw. You know, obviously he's already got more than Elway. He got more than Roethlisberger. Okay, true. He's tied with Aikman. And if he never gets another ring, being tied with Troy Aikman for Super Bowl victories, that's respectable. Not enough to be the GOAT, though. See what I'm saying? And the other point that I was trying to make is I don't feasibly see there being a 10-year stretch that Patrick Mahomes doesn't go back to the Super Bowl. I just don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. The argument. Andy Reid's getting old. He's going to retire. Kelsey's getting old. You're going to lose all these people. You can't afford to keep this. You can't afford to keep that. Yes, Travis Kelsey will eventually retire. 10 years from now, I do not expect to see Travis Kelsey, but you never know. Look at Jerry Rice. Just saying, Jackie Smith, you don't think the guys can play at a high level for a long time, even at the receiver position? There's two examples right there of men who did it in a much, much more physically challenging era. Not because the guys were more athletic, but because physically you got the shit beat out of you every play. It's not like it is now. It's not. Not even close. So yeah, it's not impossible for someone like Kelsey to avoid major injury, be able to still play an entire, 10 more years? Got drafted in 13, so 2030. Is that realistic? Can we expect Travis Kelsey to be a Chief and perform until he's 43 years old, if I'm doing my math right? 42, 43 years old until 2030? Is Travis Kelsey going to be on the Chiefs that long? Is he going to be in football that long? Is he going to be able to perform at a high level that long? I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible because I've seen Jerry Rice. I've seen Larry Fitzgerald. Okay? These guys had long careers. That's why they got the records. That's why they got the stats. So it's not impossible. Fucking Shannon Sharp. That son of a bitch played forever. And when it comes to tight ends, I think that, honestly, for modern tight ends, I would say that Shannon Sharp, you got, John Mackey, etc., old guys, but are you Gronk? Gronk. No, Kelsey's a better tight end than Gronk, without a doubt. Already, that's not even a question. But I don't really know who to compare Kelsey to. I don't know. Kelsey's a different situation. It's hard to really place him in any particular category because I don't really know how to compare him and who I would compare him to. It's tough to say because he's got great hands. He's got good speed. I don't know. Maybe a Gonzalez Gates combination. That kind of guy. But one of the greatest tight ends I've ever seen play. There's anybody tell you anything different, I don't know what they're lying to you. Are we talking? I mean, you've had so many great tight ends over the course of the history of the league. I mean, is it Kellen Winslow? Maybe he's got a little Kellen Winslow mixed in there somewhere with just the catches he's able to make. I don't know. Maybe if Kellen Winslow, Tony Gonzalez, Ozzie Newsome, and Antonio Gates all fucked and had a baby, that kid would be Travis Kelce. I don't know how else to say it. That's what I think. If they all fucked and made a baby, it would be Travis Kelce. And a lot of youth on that team. Don't forget that on both sides of the ball. One thing I'm happy about, I think, that now that the Super Bowl is over, these fucking ridiculous conspiracy theories and bullshit that I've heard throughout for the last, I don't know. I think it's ever since Taylor Swift has been involved with Travis Kelce. And there again, I'm not blaming Taylor Swift for anything. I have no issue with Taylor Swift. I have no issue with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift dating or whatever they're doing, which is probably fucking. I'm sure by this time they're fucking. Yeah, there's no way they're not. Yeah, no way. And I think that it's been one of those kind of seasons. Nobody gave us a chance after they felt that the Chiefs have kind of fallen off and you got too many distractions. And not this and you're not that. You know what? One thing you guys have forgot, we still have Patrick fucking Mahomes. And until that changes, we're always going to be we're not always going to be the best team. That's not what I'm saying. We weren't the best team this year, but we're always going to be the team to beat. That's not going to change. That's just going to continue. That's the kind of guy he is. That's how he's built. If you haven't figured that part out by now, then you haven't been watching sports long enough. This guy wants to fucking win. No conspiracy bullshit. That's, I've heard so much stupid shit between number conspiracies dealing with the number 13 and 58, and then the color conspiracies of the Super Bowl logo, and then the fucking. It's just one fucking conspiracy after the next. Not everything's a fucking conspiracy, all right? Not everything's a conspiracy theory. There's real conspiracies and conspiracy theories, but I have yet to see anything of the sort out of Taylor Swift and the NFL. And I myself have said this in the past. I think some of the shit's rigged. I agree. I don't think it's not. I think some of it is rigged. I think it absolutely is rigged. And by rigged, let me clarify. I think I think that a game could be swayed by outside forces such as an official making a bad call or an official making no call. So I guess in that case, you can go figure that, well, uh, he's on the take. No, no, yeah, yeah. You don't think that there's fucking gonna be somebody out there at some point that's trying to fucking pay off an official? Shit. Think about what's his name in the NBA, Donahue, fucking setting up games, taking fucking bribes, all kinds of shit. Happens all the time. It happens more than you know. But in this case, I don't believe that anything was done unjustly, unfairly. It was a great game. If you watched it, was it to everyone's liking? Was it everyone's cup of tea? Probably not, but that's okay. It's okay. It was it was a great game to watch. The only thing I didn't enjoy the commercials. There were too many of them. The conspiracy bullshit. There was too much of it, and I wouldn't say it was overhyped Super Bowl, but I got the Chiefs got no love all throughout. Nobody was giving these guys a fucking chance, which we should be used to at this point. But that's true. Nobody ever gives the Chiefs fucking a chance for shit, and I don't understand why. So between stupid fucking conspiracy theories, people freezing outside, overdosing on fentanyl, and now I got a mass shooting event during a fucking Super Bowl victory parade. Shit sounds like fiction, doesn't it? It's not though. This is real shit. If I told you that, you'd think I was making it up, but I'm not. These are all real things that happened within, just the last, month, 2 months? Crazy. Ridiculous. Unbelievable. 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 Just like trying to find a fucking co-host that's going to be on and available. That's what I need. I'm looking for somebody consistent that can be available and bounce things off one another. That's what I like to see. But, we'll see what happens. We're going to keep doing what we do, and that's what we're going to keep doing. I'm going to get so good at making these fucking videos and actually making videos versus going live, which, whatever. I enjoy both. Doesn't make any difference to me. But to be able to do it consistently is what I want. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And you know what? You get that from me. The other thing is, I want to try to give it some of these other content creators on the sports side and sports card side of things, because those are the things that interest me amongst other interests. But that's what I like. Sports cards, keep buying them, keep doing what you do, keep collecting, keep selling, keep fucking grading. Don't stop. It's good for the hobby. It's good for everybody. If you enjoy what you do, then you'll never work a day in your life. This coming from a guy that doesn't sell cards on any platform. I keep you in business. But if you want to know a thing or two about buying and or selling, I would love to give you my input on it. As a buyer and former seller, I can go both ways and give you a honest, thesis on the experience on both ways, both sides. But a lot of guys out there on the YouTube that I like to watch. I made a video about it last week, maybe it was earlier this week. I don't remember. You know what? No, it was on Super Bowl Sunday right before the Chiefs beat the 49ers, just like I said they would. Anyway, still collecting. Not going to stop collecting. It's like therapy, kind of like what this is. This is therapy to me. Being on here, going live, talking to a camera. Usually, you like to see some comments to reply to, but not this time. Not as of yet, at least. Maybe in the future, but that's okay. Like I said, my angle on being honest is not to, it's not notoriety, it's not fame, it's not fortune. It's I had nothing else going on. Don't have a whole lot more to do, so I'm here doing this, which is fun. I enjoy it. A lot of cards, a lot of sports card knowledge, a lot of sports cards in general, a lot of collecting, a lot of sports knowledge in general also. History, things of that nature. Current affairs also. Good and bad news. Even though everything seems to be doom and gloom as of late, but you got to take that just like anything else. Good with the bad. Never learn to appreciate one without the other. That's also a fact. Can't have one without the other. Even though we might be in a world that up is down and left is right, and nobody knows which way is which. Then you ask the guys that are supposed to know, and they're lost as you are. So no one's alone when it comes to this. It's interesting to try to navigate through it sometimes, and life doesn't make it any easier. There's no fucking cheat code for it. You just got to live it and learn from the mistakes that you make, and not repeat them again. Hopefully, you're smart enough to know that you've done something wrong, made a mistake, learn from it, and you're done. Don't regress. Don't fucking go back and, you know, Marty McFly that shit. History repeat itself. No, don't do it. But I was expecting there to be somebody else, and I had some things written down that we were going to touch and get on, but it's all right. I filled in an hour's worth of time with me just talking to myself. That's impressive, I know. It's also a good test for the software, so I'll see how well it did and make my life easier from having to make just one broadcast on one platform that goes to all of my social accounts. That sounds a lot easier than what I have been doing. That way, you guys get the best of both worlds. FaceTube, U-Book, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the fuck it is. It is what it is, though. But we're gonna call it a show for right now. Like I said, I want to find out some more about the situation here after the celebratory parade for the Chiefs. I'll get back on eventually here, maybe later this week. It's Wednesday right now, Thursday, Friday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get on here. I'll get on, talk about some sports cards. I wanted to actually show off the Super Bowl collection here. Yeah, still got that. Still got that. Never stopped. Though I already had a Brock Purdy auto, I bought another one just because I didn't have a card one. I bought a photo of him, but then I got, let's see, there we go. There's a pretty good auto. Doesn't need to be the top dollar stuff. No reason for that. I don't need the most expensive auto. I don't need the most expensive anything. And while I'm at it, and I'm talking about the hobby now, what I collect, I collect Lyle Alzado, right? Love Lyle Alzado. Greatest Jewish football player I can think of ever of all time. Better than Edelman, yes. I don't care if Edelman got more rings or not. He wasn't Alzado. Alzado was just a fucking animal. He's going to fight you. Fucking, I mean, you Might not even know what Lyle Alzado is. He was drafted back in '72 by the Broncos. Helped them make it to their first Super Bowl in '77. Shit, 19. When did he fight Muhammad Ali? I want to say it was either late '70s, early '80s. Fought Muhammad Ali at Mile High Stadium in an actual boxing ring because Lyle Alzado was a boxer before he was a football player. And then once his career was over in '85 or '86, he ended it with the Raiders. He played for 3 teams, played for Denver, played for the Browns, and then he played for the Raiders. Got a Super Bowl with the Raiders. He had an acting career afterwards. He was in some movies. And then found out that he had brain cancer. I think it was '91, if I'm not mistaken, and he passed away in '92. But he attributed his brain cancer to the use of steroids for a long time. And he ultimately paid the price with his life. So, yeah, interesting story, interesting guy. Find out more about him if you like. I'm sure you can YouTube and find out information about Lyle Alzado. But he, and it wasn't like other guys weren't using steroids in the NFL prior to Lyle Alzado. The NFL didn't even start testing for steroids until '87. So many people used steroids for many years prior to Lyle Alzado. He was just the one that came out in '91 after he found out he'd gotten sick and said, look, I use steroids, and I think this is what caused my brain cancer, and now I'm dying. So, yeah, Lyle Alzado. But yeah, I collect Lyle Alzado cards and autographs. I've got 1, 2, 3 autos of Alzado, 2 that are pictures that are really cool, and then to chase the rainbow sorts for Lyle Alzado is not a difficult thing because all the cards are readily and easily available. So very easy. It's not like trying to get every Michael Jordan card. It's nothing like that. But autographs is what I collect, and I'm specific to players. I don't get caught up in the hype like everyone else gets caught up in the hype right now. Everybody's caught up in this Caleb Williams. I'm like, fuck Caleb Williams. Drake May, fuck Drake May. Michael Penix, fuck Michael Penix. There's a quarterback coming out at this year's draft that's worth a fuck. Sorry. Not sorry. I'll be the first one to tell you that right now. You guys want to prospect, speculate, whatever. You do you. That's you. I've seen these motherfuckers play, and I'm telling you, there is absolutely nothing special about these guys. Maybe you guys are seeing something that I'm not, but especially Drake May. Remember the last quarterback come out of UNC, number 2 pick by the Chicago Bears, Mitchell Trubisky? Fuck are you talking about? Drake May? Fuck out of here. Stupid. Who else? Hartman from Notre Dame. If he didn't have big ass Joe Alt as a left tackle, we wouldn't even be talking about him. Now Joe Alt, solid. Marvin Harrison Jr., solid. There's a lot of skill positions that are coming out player-wise in this draft. There's a lot of big names coming out of this draft for quarterbacks. But I'm telling you right now, this draft would be... I wouldn't want any of these fucking quarterbacks. None of them. Especially Caleb. That'd be the last one I want. Stake in the franchise. Fuck out of here. Ain't nobody give you stake in any fucking franchise. Fucking crazy. Then, not to mention the fact that USC quarterbacks in general, I mean, who's the best USC quarterback that, was able to take his success and extend it throughout the NFL? Carson Palmer. Right. Who? Mark Sanchez, Matt Leinart, Matt Barkley. Who? I'm just every USC quarterback that has come out into the NFL. There has never been a winning Super Bowl quarterback out of USC. It's a fact. It's not my rules. I don't make it up. I don't even need to look it up. I know. Never happened. Yeah. So I don't know why you would think now that Caleb Williams is going to do something that no other USC quarterback has ever done. Not to mention the fact that his mom has been painting his nails like a fucking girl since he was 14 years old. It's not weird. Come on, man. His character, he acts like a fucking woman. No offense to women, but you know what I mean. So I don't know what you guys are seeing or what you like so much about him. USC, fucking, yeah, you guys are out of your mind. I already told you there's not a good fucking quarterback out of this class. Now, McCarthy, none of them. You like J.J. McCarthy? You must like Zach Wilson. Same fucking person. Crazy. Bo Nix, Hartman. You like Sam Howell? There you go. That's who we got. There's Penix. Nope. What about the guy that won the Heisman out of LSU? Nope. Also not. Also not. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I wasn't expecting anybody to come down to the studio while I was in here. But my son just came in a second ago. Then he left. Yeah. But yeah, I don't prospect on any of these busters because I've seen them play. I know what the NFL is like because I've seen those guys play. And yeah, no, I don't. But I'm not looking forward to any of them having any kind of real success in the NFL because their college game and the NFL, they're not the same. You keep getting these younger coaches in the NFL. Maybe they can work with some of these kids and get them to produce, switch things up. But at the same time, I mean, I don't see that. I thought the 2022 draft was bad. Then this last draft, you came out with what? Who'd you come out with? Besides C.J. Stroud, Aiden O'Connell. Is that? I mean, really not a whole lot to talk about. There's just not a lot of guys that they fucking suck. They fucking suck. And these guys that are coming out this draft, you'll see. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into that bullshit hype. I know it's some people's business on certain platforms to hype up certain individuals, certain products to sell. That's the purpose of it. I'm telling you, don't buy into that stupid shit. Don't do it. Don't do it. But ultimately, you do whatever the fuck you want to do with yourself and your money. All I can do is give you advice. I'm not an influencer. I'm definitely not a digital creator, though I'll figure the shit out. But yeah, I'm more of a shit talker / orator. I could be a professional speaker if I wanted to. If I wanted to. But listen, I got 7:00, 7:15 my time here in the Midwest Central Time. I don't have any comments to reply to, which is fine. It's okay. Like I said, I spoke to more things that I didn't want to speak to than I did. So on the next go around, we're not going to talk about any. How do I say it? I'm not going to glorify anything that happened today in Kansas City. So unfortunate And I feel sorry for those affected, and I wish them all a safe and speedy recovery. And for those lives lost, I say a prayer for the families, those involved, and for everybody else out there in FaceTubeville. I'll talk at you guys again later. All right, guys. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, KC.